Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Mythology with your host Nitin Nair. In the journey that we've been taking over the past few podcasts exploring mythologies from around the world, there is one category that has really caught my attention. That is mainly the category of hybrids, where you have these creatures with half human and half animal characteristics that really ignites the kind of creative imagination that I would look forward to. Many people believe that these characters are real and that they deserve the kind of worship and adoration that they still receive today, and we have absolutely no issues with that. We totally believe that these characters have been created and many of them show many signs that they need to be worshipped or actually learned from. And if your particular religion or your particular set of beliefs considers them to be much more than a character in mythology and that you consider them to be gods, well, you have every right to believe so and we respect that decision of yours. It's just that we look at it from a very pragmatic third-person point of view when we analyze these characters. But to say that we have been amused or the fact that we find any of these characters funny is actually quite absurd. We really love these characters and the kind of magical excitement that they bring to the reader. And also, yes, we also acknowledge the fact that some of them have characteristics that just need to be commonplace in today's world, with every human being imbibing qualities of loyalty, friendship, high moral value, honesty, etc. And if you actually value these qualities and you look up to a character in mythology that exhibits them and you consider them to be worthy of worship, there is nothing that we can say that can counter this point, and we believe that some characters deserve all the kind of love, worship, reverence, adoration and respect that they receive. Now, one such character is that of Hanuman. On a personal level, the character of Hanuman has always excited me since I was a kid. He was my epitome for honesty, loyalty, strength, valor, bravery, you name it. Any quality that you can think or that you feel that a 6-year-old or a 7-year-old child should look up to, Hanuman had it, and he was a legend for me. He was one of those characters that truly made me believe that the Ramayana was a true story. And then the fact that his half-brother Bhim was a character in the Mahabharata again endeared me to the character Bhim. Although in the context of this podcast and the website Mythology, what we have done is we have classified Hanuman as a hybrid. He falls under multiple categories. As he is worshipped as a standalone god in different parts of India and as part of Hindu mythology, he can be classified as a god. Now, since he is the son of the wind god Vayu, and also known as Vayu Putra in many of the retelling of the stories, he can be classified as a demigod. He belongs to the Vanara race, which is a race of monkeys. He can be classified as an animal. But we have chosen to classify him as hybrid because he displays characteristics that go beyond what an animal of a particular species would depict. So we discuss those things as we go along, but that is the only reason why the monkey god Hanuman has been classified as a hybrid in our podcast. Like you mentioned, Hanuman is a Hindu god and a companion of the god Rama. Hanuman is often referred to as the son of Vayu, the wind god, and on one account states that while Anjana, Hanuman's mother, was worshipping Shiva, the king of Ayodhya, Dashrath, was also performing a puja which begat him with sons Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata and Shatrughna. If you haven't listened to a podcast about Rama, the son of King Dashratha, please go ahead and check that out because we have talked about this whole puja a little bit more in detail. To aid in the birth of his sons, the wives of King Dashrath consumed a pudding that was blessed by the gods. While this was being handed over to the wives, a hawk snatched a portion of the pudding and flew away with it. The wind god Vayu delivered the portion to the hands of Anjana, who consumed it, and was blessed with Hanuman as a child. Now, if we look at the physical traits of Hanuman, he is usually depicted as muscular, exceptionally well-built humanoid monkey. He stands upright, has arms that are comparable to what we have today on his arms and human-like feet. He has a distinct ape-like face but with other physical features of that of a man, excluding the presence of a very powerful and magical tail. Hanuman was born on the mountain Anjaneri. His mother Anjana was an Apsara who was born on earth after suffering a curse. She was redeemed by giving birth to a son, which was Hanuman. The Ramayana states that his father, Kesari, was a king from a place called Sumeru. For 12 long years, Anjana and Kesari prayed for a son to Lord Shiva and was eventually blessed. If you look at the stories where they say that Kesari was the king of a place called Sumeru, there have been experts who wanted to claim that Sumer was an actual place that existed in that time, probably somewhere in modern day Middle East, so that the actual history of Hanuman's father can be traced to a region and can also have links to the Sumerian or the Babylonian cultures. Hanuman was also the son of Vayu in various stories, and he played a crucial role in his birth. Another tradition says that Anjana and her father prayed to Shiva for a child. By Shiva's direction, Vayu transferred his male energy to Anjana's womb. Hanuman was born from that. Accordingly, Hanuman is identified as a son of Vayu. So the origin story of Hanuman has many versions depending on the area you live in or the kind of folklore that you believe in, but it always has the presence of Vayu, the wind god, in some form or the other. This actually resulted in him being referred to as Vayuputra or Pavanputra, with almost every aspect of mythology acknowledging the fact that Hanuman was probably Vayu's son. The origin of the word Hanuman is unclear. One interpretation is that it refers to a character with a mutilated jaw. Another version supports a Puranic legend where Hanuman as an infant mistakes the sun for a fruit and is wounded in the jaw when he is thrown back to earth by the sun god. Hanuman, Hanuman, Hanumanta, Hanumantudu are some of the names that have linguistic variations of Hanuman. These names are often used in rural India. Anjaneya, Anjaneya are also used in South India to indicate that he is the son of Anjana. Vayuputra or Pavanputra, which means the son of the Vayu Deva or the wind god. Vajrangbali or Bajrangbali, which means the strong one who has limbs as hard or tough as Vajra. He is also known as Sankata Mochna, which means the remover of dangers, hardship of hurdles. Maruti or the son of Maruta, which is another name for Vayu. Kapishwara, which means Lord of the Monkeys. Ramaduta means the messenger of Lord Rama. Mahakaya, which means gigantic. Veera or Mahavira, which means the most valiant or brave. Mahabala or Mahabali, which means the strongest ones, are some of the other common names under which Hanuman is worshipped around India and in some cases, some areas of Southeast Asia. Hanuman is blessed with numerous gifts, powers and abilities, but unfortunately is cursed with the fact that he is never aware of his powers. So this is the reason why in many instances across the Ramayana, it required other characters to remind Hanuman that he is capable of something when he was actually sitting completely distraught, not knowing what to do. So whether it was jumping across the sea to go to Lanka or even lifting up a whole mountain, other characters from the Mahabharata had to actually remind him that he has the strength and the ability to do it. Some of his other abilities include being immortal, which is showcased by the fact that he is one of the very few characters that is present in both the Ramayana as well as the Mahabharata. He is also considered a brahmachari who can control all kinds of temptation. He is also believed to be a shapeshifter, have extraordinary strength, have in-depth knowledge of the Vedas, and is a healer of all kinds of diseases. Now, Hanuman as a deity has influence over Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and other traditional religions of Southeast Asia. He is seen in drawing and historical representations of various Asian cultures like Thailand, Indonesia, Sri Lanka, and Cambodia. He is also a common fixture of the Ram Leela celebrations and has also temples dedicated to him all over India, apart from the usual presence in Ram temples. As you can see, the character Hanuman is a joy to read about and to understand and to even comprehend the complexity of a person who can be so simple. Thank you very much for tuning in to Mythology. This is your host Nitin Nair signing off, reminding you that Mythology is the home of mythology.